Hi everyone, this is Liberté, and today I'm going to lecture you about the politics in Ivory Coast, which is one of my country, and I would like to talk to you about Mr. Allassane Ouattara and some politics about my country, Ivory Coast. I would like to lecture this video in English to let you know what is really going on in Ivory Coast, what it comes about the politics about this country. As I promised in other videos, I talk to people that when the time will come, I will do some videos in English. I just want to do that just to put people in alert in English, because there's not much channels who speak about Ivory Coast politics on YouTube, so on and on. So in this video, I would like to talk about Mr. Allassane Ouattara, who is one of the troublemakers, and some of his privileges when it comes to the Ivory Coast politics. Why I say that? I am saying that because all the promises that Mr. Allassane Ouattara, that I qualified as a French politics papi, everything that this man has promised in front of the international opinion, international community, he hasn't done none of all his promises. This means that Mr. Allassane Ouattara wasn't faithful. Mr. Allassane Ouattara has abused to the trust, about the trust that people put on him when it comes to run Ivory Coast. And now he's thinking, he's wondering having a third term to run again Ivory Coast. So this is the reason I am doing this video. We're going to listen one of his videos about when he just gets in power in Ivory Coast. Let's take a look. So in here, we're going to listen Mr. Allassane Ouattara talking about Ivory Coast politics. They were interviewing him about the situation in Ivory Coast. Let's listen.
Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Back in November, he was elected president of Ivory Coast, but for nearly 5 months, Allassane Ouattara was holed up in a UN-guarded hotel. The whole world watched. last month, the Battle of Abidjan pitched scenes this past Saturday. More than 20 heads of state converging here on the political capital, Yamoussoukro, for the inauguration of Allassane Ouattara. Mr. President, thank you for welcoming us here at the official residence of the President of the Ivorian Republic.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Why did Saturday's ceremony matter?
Well, Ivoirians have voted massively. They have elected a president. The former president did not want to leave. He has left. He is now in jail under house arrest, as we say here. And it was important for us to say that we're going to something else.
Now, rivaling...
And that, thanks God, it's over. The brutality, the violence, all that we suffered for 5 months. But thanks God, it's over.
Now,
So here, Mr. Allassane Ouattara was happy that, like, the brutality of Mr. Laurent Gbagbo was over. He was happy because Mr. Gbagbo has been arrested and put in jail somewhere in Korogo. He was even thanking God that the situation is over.
Rivaling you on the applause meter was the French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, some even quipping that it was his party, not yours.
Well, Nicolas Sarkozy was applauded because of the role that Ban Ki-moon also was applauded, if I may say, because the Ivorians realize the role that the United Nations and France under United Nations mandate have done to help us with the destruction of heavy weapons in Abidjan. I'd like to say...
Okay, so this interview was made around, like, I think 2011. So when you see how the politics in Ivory Coast is going in, we realize that the rebels was financed by Mr. Allassane Ouattara and Soro Guillaume. They are the one who was the main leaders for this trouble in Ivory Coast. By the way, France was also involved through Mr. Sarkozy. The UN and other international organization was involved because they did not have the whole picture about what was going on in Ivory Coast. Mr. Sarkozy was a close friend of Mr. Allassane Ouattara. Sarkozy was one of the men who speak for Mr. Allassane Ouattara, convinced the UN to use weapons to invade Ivory Coast and kill people. The killing has been done and nobody has said anything about it. They only says there were only 3,000 victims or 3,000 deaths, which is wrong. The country has been divided and almost 15,000 or even, I can say maybe 20,000 people has been dead in this situation in Ivory Coast. Let's listen to him.
The French acted under the United Nations mandate, and this was done with our requests. I called Ban Ki-moon, I called Mr. Sarkozy, And I told them, we have a resolution of the UN, resolution 1975. Mr. Babu is using heavy weapons, tanks and rockets and so forth against civilians.
This was a big lie. We realized that it was a big lie. He made up all this allegation against Mr. Laurent Gbagbo. We have seen AD witness in the international court was not able, they were not able to prove all this allegation. This problem in Ivory Coast was just a game, was just a joke from this troublemaker, which is Mr. Alassane Ouattara. Let's listen.
But detractors point to your close personal ties. It's easy to pick up the phone to speak to a man who was witness at your wedding.
Well, no, he did not participate in my wedding.
Yes, he did. See, the liar, it's him. We have information who says that this man was the man who married him. He lies again. This man continuously lies. Lies for him, it's like a truth. We are not stupid. Don't we? We are not stupid. He keeping lying. At that time, he was saying this man did not even know this man. But we know by now that there were two close friends. There are two close friends. Even Mr. Sarkozy is the ambassador of Ivory Coast in Qatar. Can you imagine that?
Check your facts. And I called Ban Ki-moon also. After all, I'm the elected president. And when a president called another president, by courtesy, leaving aside the friendship that we have, which is not recent. We've known each other for more than 20 years. I called Ban Ki-moon, I called Nicolas Sarkozy, and this was the thing to do for the president of a country where people are being killed by thousands by someone who has been defeated in the elections.
So what do you do now? How far do you go in terms of justice or retribution? It's a difficult balance.
Well, I think I've created a commission for dialogue, truth and reconciliation, and at the same time the judicial process is continuing. And so we'll see at the end, but justice must be rendered.
You've asked.
Impunity must be ended in Cote d'Ivoire.
So he was saying here that justice must be rendered and impunity and justice must be as well rendered. He was doing this interview maybe like 10 years ago. So now, what are the results of what he was saying? People still jailed. People still fled from Ivory Coast. Many people flee Ivory Coast for Europe and neighbors countries. Many people has been not having the security in Ivory Coast. They're still scared. Impunity, it's not done. There's a lot of injustice. Okay? There's a lot of injustice. If you speak up in Ivory Coast, they put you in jail. He jail people whenever he wants, wherever he wants, however he wants. He doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care about his people. This man is a troublemaker. You really need to watch him. Because after Ivory Coast will be like a place of terrorists. And we know who perpetrated all these terrorism facts and situation. We know that. So if you create terrorism in other people's country, how your country will be in peace? Because something says, a proverb says, what goes around comes around. So the Western Africa has to be protected. Stop create terrorism. Stop let French puppy president destabilize, trouble West African country. Something must be done. We cannot always let French politics poison other Western Africa country. Now, we can see that the G5 of Sahel, Russia, give his approval, but now realize that there's a lot of lies over there. Mali started to get destabilized. Burkina Faso started to get destabilized. Terrorism here, terrorism here. Something must be done. French is a tiny little bit country. French is nothing. French is nothing. Why you give so much power to French? Because French country is where all the European countries pressure on to attack other weak countries, like Ivory Coast countries, like Ivory Coast, like Western African countries. This is not fair. This is not fair. Something must be done. Stop create trouble to other countries. I call out to the United States, to Mr. Donald Trump, to really watch over Western countries. Because now, if you not prevent it, it's going to be a place of terrorists. Killing people and organized crimes and drugs and all this. This is the troublemakers in West Africa. There is Mr. Allassane Ouattara. There is Mr. The ex-president of Burkina Faso, Mr. Blaise Compaore. Those people, and some of them, are puppy of French politics. I call out Russia to investigate and try to really learn about Africa, West Africa. We will never get peace. They will kill us. They will destabilize us, which is not right. So I call out. I call out to China. We need help from these puppies. Presidents, we need fresh blood like us to run Africa, to run our countries. Peace and dialogue are really important for the whole world. We're sick and tired to have French bases, military bases everywhere. We're really sick and tired. So we're going to listen a little bit. The Secretary of the state of United States is going to be in French. But what he was saying, he was warning Mr. Alassane Ouattara to not even try to have a third term of presidency in Ivory Coast. Because one president was trying to do that in United States, he was out. It's not a joke. These people want to kill people. These people want bloodshed. Everything they preached before by saying that they're the best, they are the one. 10 years after, it's not true. The injustice keep going. Okay? The injustice keep going. The killing keep going. The reconciliation is not done because they did not want it. Poor people want it, but them, they did not want it. They don't want it. They want to kill and stay in power and steal all the resources and kill people. How we can live with leaders who wants to kill, and kill? We're going to listen a little bit this video.
This man is being supported by a group of people, maybe 500 or 1,000, but as soon as ECOWAS countries will start sending in Air Force jets, boats and so forth, and troops, Mr. Dabo, I know him, he will run away. He will, and mercenaries come to do this job for money. They don't come to do this job to be killed.
Now, you yourself have said that you don't want any bloodshed, but isn't it inevitable?
So when we watch out and we just like realize he is the one who finances the rebels. One Lebanese man has finances the rebellions for almost 60 million CFA to kill people. Mr. Alassane Ouattara knows about it. And for instance, when there is a war, there is two parties. Mr. Laurent Gbagbo went to the international court. He is no longer guilty. So it's time now for Mr. Alassane Ouattara to answer questions. He needs to answer questions. And also, he did not want Mr. Laurent Gbagbo to come back to his own country. This is not right. That's his country. He has to come. How you can block somebody to come to his own lands? Who are you? And also, you want to put trouble on the country, over the country again, and says, well, there's no election. I want to have third term. You better stop it, Mr. Alassane Ouattara. I say you better stop it. Your game is over, for real. Your joke is over. Let me tell you, your game is over. You need to respect your people. You need to respect the international community. You need to have a word. You are not a man of word. You don't have a word. People trust you. People put their trust on you. And you lie to them. And you change your words. Such and such. So I will call out. So the international community will watch exactly what is going on in Ivory Coast. This is my last point of this video.
Encore une fois, revenir, Président, sur la question du G5 Sahel. Je rappelle que c'est un sujet qui sera d'ailleurs débattu demain et vous serez sur le plateau dans le cadre de cette belle émission Le Mérite panafricain et pourquoi pas au débat panafricain également le dimanche. Alors, je vais citer ici toujours l'ambassadeur russe en Algérie. Il dit que dans cette affaire du G5 Sahel, il dit nous ne participons pas. Alors il dit l'initiative du G5 Sahel a été adoptée par le Conseil de sécurité de l'ONU et la Russie a soutenu ce projet. Cependant, dit-il, nous ne participons pas à cette force ni financièrement, ni militairement, ni technologiquement. Au niveau politique, nous suivons ce qui se passe et nous constatons que la situation ne s'est pas améliorée en matière de sécurité, ce qui nous interpelle, dit-il.
No. So in this video, the man was saying he is talking about the G5 in the Sahel, like in the desert. This thing has been put in place for just trouble, for more war, for shedding more blood. Okay, so Russia says that they're signed, but military, technologically, and politically, they are not involved. And they thought things will get better, but not. Things is not getting better. Things are going worse and worse and worse and worse. Don't kill other people. Stop killing other people. That is the point. You want the resources? Why not come and negotiate it? Why not come and talk? Through diplomacy, speech, and agreements, and take some resources in a win-win exchange. That's the whole point here. So I'm going to close this video. In this small English videos that I'm doing here, I'm calling out the United States, Russia, and China to watch over the Western Africa. Do not give all the credit to French politics. I'm telling you in this video because I want to just tell it, which is my real right of speech. That's my right to talk about it. I'm concerned about this place. I hope you like this video. You will comment enough, like it, comment it, and especially share these videos. So I will do more videos in English for you. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.